Welcome back to the Education Notebook here on News 12 Connecticut. I'm Amelie Wilson. Teachers are faced with a lot of challenges these days, from achievement gaps to disruptive students. Getting kids' attention can be very tough. Our next guest, Maryann Gardner and Dr. Don Perras, hold training seminars and workshops to give teachers a little extra help. Don and Maryann, thanks so much for coming in.
Oh, our pleasure.
Thank you.
Well, school is about to start. And I'm sure everybody's enjoyed the nice long summer, although it's been hot. Any advice for, how about new teachers?
I'll handle that one.
Go right ahead, Don.
I spend a good portion of my professional time consulting and training new teachers. So I find that this is an area that really needs significant attention, classroom management. I've taught at Southern Connecticut University for decades, and when I go into the field, I'm at schools that always have professional opportunities for new staff. So one of the areas that we target is classroom management. And I just find that teachers as a whole don't have adequate preparation in that area. The kids are changing, as we all know. There's more family disruptiveness, issues with readiness for school. I would advise parents certainly to start to teach their kids basic school rules and responsibilities, how to be prepared for authority, getting an active preparation for learning and homework. So it's a big challenge for today's generation.
Yeah, and each year is going to be different for the students. They're going to have a new teacher, new rules.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of adjusting.
Yeah, let's talk about rules, Maryann. Tell us a little bit about your background, because you were a teacher. We've worked in a lot of different aspects.
Yeah, I worked in as a teacher in private schools, but most recently, for the past 8 years, as an intervention specialist, working in criminal justice programs, where we do get clients that are high school, college students who kind of mess up in school from not using some good skilled thinking, which is one of the things that I like to advocate for in the classroom, to teach our students to use skilled thinking versus that reactive automatic thinking. So as a result of making some bad choices, they end up in the criminal justice system. So to avoid those situations, it's important that we are giving our students some social emotional learning.
What kind of violence are you all seeing in the schools?
I'm going to say more at the high school level. Clearly, we're getting some fairly disruptive behavior. Kids that don't have an internalized sense of rules and responsibilities. It's particularly challenging in some of the districts that have also low test scores, so you can almost see a direct correlation. Having said that, a lot of schools do have initiatives. They have some instructional procedures that are hopefully going to reduce that violence and aggressive behavior. To me, it's a function of kids not having a motivation to learn. They're very influenced by peer pressure. A lot of stress on kids being popular today, as you know, with all the MySpace and YouTube and so forth.
Right, because the violence doesn't stop at school. It seems to spill over at home on the computer and texting.
With the technology that we have, although it's very good, it can also, play a very negative role in education. With the social networking sites and the kids not using that skilled thinking before they post something. Think about the consequences and sequels that will follow if you post something that's negative or derogatory. And then we have the cyberbullying and the bullying that's going on, and that seems to be a growing epidemic.
The reason it's such a problem in many of our schools is that it detracts from instruction. So the teachers are spending an inordinate amount of time coping with disruptive behavior. Particularly, I'm going to have to say the newer teachers who, as I mentioned, don't have adequate preparation.
So you all can help these new teachers, right? You do hold all of these, you're a staff development company, and so you can hold these seminars. How can people get a hold of you, and how long are the seminars usually? Well,
the ones that we're planning for September and beyond, I'll be doing sessions on classroom management. We typically can do 2 to 3 hour introductory workshops, and then there's a series that follow that, because believe it or not, there's a huge amount of material to present in this area. You have to have teachers prepared to understand how it's linked to instruction. I have them look at the personal issues between themselves and students, so I do a lot of emphasis on what I call affective training, which I think is kind of unique in that regard. So people can use us to help come into the school, to provide some background, give them the basics, And again, Maryann and I are prepared to offer that to the
Great.
communities.
Well, before we go really quickly, Maryann, say, you know, new teachers standing up there, the kids are going wild. How do you get their attention?
Okay, I think the most important thing for a teacher to always remember is connecting with their students. Mm-hmm. Once you make that connection with the students, that's where you have them. When my motto's always been, in order to teach them, you have to reach them. So when you reach them and you make that connection, you build that strong alliance, believe me, your classroom is going to be as smooth as can be.
Thank you so much, Maryann and Don.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.